Hey Chuckleheads, welcome back to Space Engineers. Got an update for you, and it's been a few days. I've been busy with doing a lot of different things, so we're going to look and see what's been going on in this playthrough. You can see I'm actually in a different place than I was. The last place I was at was kind of a green, foresty, cool looking place. This is more desertish. Basically, I was looking at it and I was like, I've learned a few things. Let me see if I can start over, and if that's going to make a difference, applying the lessons learned and maybe get off to a better start. So I tried a new one, started off here, and was actually pretty lucky that I ended up with there's some cobalt and some iron right next to where I landed, where I started my base. Actually, I think I landed out there, but I just ran over here to make my base. And so I got a lot of minerals nearby. So really, really handy. But what I don't have nearby is water, which is going to be a problem. So you can see I got my base set up. I got a lot of wind power going on, but even with all those wind turbines, it's still not enough because I got a lot of things going on. My base expanding. I built some big giant solar panels, and this was kind of fun because what I did was I made it so that they will rotate sort of with the sun, because the sun's going to come up and it's going to go overhead and it's going to come back and set. And of course, with solar panels, the more direct sunlight you can get, meaning they're perpendicular to the sun, the more efficient they're going to be. So I set them up on rotors that spin, and I had to set them at a very, 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 very slow pace. And then I put a timer on them so that when the daylight ends, because in the game I've got it set up where a day is 2 hours, so that means I'm figuring approximately 1 hour of daylight, 1 hour of night. So I've got the timer set up for 1 hour, so that at 1 hour it will automatically tell these to reverse their direction, and so they'll slowly spin back to their starting point. And then hopefully, if all goes well, it'll start itself all over again. Although I'm having some little bit of issues with that. It doesn't seem to want to actually restart itself very well. So, I don't know. There's some things in this game that don't quite work as well as you want them to. There's very limited programmability and things. Now, there is a mode called experimental mode where you can open up in-game scripting and programming, things like that, but it's supposed to be not as stable as the game should be, potential bugs, crashes, and different things like that. And I actually looked into it. I did go into experimental mode and looked at a couple things, and apparently you have to be a computer programmer to be able to do it, like serious coding of programs and computers and things. I was like, yeah, I don't know any of that. How can I do that? The only way I could do that is to go find somebody else who knows how to computer program and have them do it, and that just kind of ruins the fun, because the whole point of this is to basically try and solve the problems. You're designing and engineering solutions to problems. Not saying, hey, you over there who are smart and know how to computer program, can you do this thing for me and, make my life easy for me so that I don't have to think about it. So this is kind of my solution. It's not a great solution. There may be a better solution out there, but it works for now. So things I got going on my base is a lot of solar power, a lot of wind power, big giant, that right there is just a storage tank. Oops. I've got some large refineries, got a couple assemblers, some batteries charging up, and basically what the whole point was is, as I was looking at videos and things of people who have done this, a lot of them, when they play this, when you do survival mode, you crash land in a escape pod, little survival pod. And a lot of people will turn that into like a little mining ship. They'll throw some extra jet engines on it, throw a mining drill on it, and go out and mine some ore and use that. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll try that, because, I had my big giant base drill that I built in the last one, and that was cool, but it was very limited. So I tried doing the little jetpack miner thing. Didn't like it very much. It doesn't mine very quickly. You're constantly running back and forth because the cargo container is so small it can't hardly hold anything, and it's really, really, really difficult to maneuver and fly. So I was like, no, I'm going back to this, because this works really, really well, especially when you've got the iron right next to your base and the cobalt just a little bit beyond that. So I could actually just run this thing, and you can see I've already cleared out quite a bit. Gotten a lot of resources out. But the one downside with this is it does have to dig through everything. So I'm basically making a canyon. I can't just selectively only drill the iron or only drill the cobalt. It tears up and makes a canyon out of all of this. So I'm like, okay, well, this is good for now, but I want something better. I want to be able to be more selective in my mining. So I'm thinking, you know, I like the idea of a mining ship, but I want something that can carry a lot more and go places deeper, and I don't know, just I wanted something heavy duty, and that's what this is. So this is my mining ship. It's gone through several changes, not a whole lot. I mean, I built it pretty much the way it is. A couple changes I made is I used to have these engines were running along the top. These drill bits were in closer. So I had to make a few changes because these engines were constantly getting damaged up top. So putting them up front was really important to keep them safe. I had to widen the drills out because the sides of the ship get banged up really easily. And I had to put a lot, I mean, look at that. That is a lot of engines to make this thing fly. And it does fly pretty well as long as it's empty. But once you go drilling and mining, it gets really, really, really heavy, and that makes the engines work really hard to try and fly it. And there's a lot of limitations on what you can do. For instance, if it's empty, I can turn this thing upside down and have it facing straight down at the ground and hover in midair and even fly up backwards. But if I'm going to load this thing full of dirt, minerals, metals, whatever, this gets so heavy that you have to be really careful about the angle that you're turning at. For instance, you cannot, when it's loaded, you can't be more than like 45 degrees down like this. Otherwise, it won't be able to pull itself back up. I've got some strong engines here, but they only go straight up and down. If I go beyond 45 degrees, I'm relying on these engines, and they're just not as strong. So I have to be very, very careful about how I do the mining. So let's go for a little trip. So here's my mining ship. So let's see, I need to turn my batteries off of recharge, so turn them on. Turn my thrusters on, and disconnect. And now I can go flying. You can see it actually does, you know, fly fairly well. It can get up to a decent speed fairly quickly. Got a couple mines up here, some gold and some silver that I've been working on. So we'll run up there and do a quick mining. You can see what it's like. So here we are, nice and high, you know, a couple hundred meters. So I can flip straight upside down here, point straight at the ground, and hold myself in place, and even push myself up. Definitely can't do that when I got a full load of ore. Definitely not going to work. I've actually crashed this thing several times because once it gets loaded with dirt and ore and things, it becomes so heavy, the inertia, the momentum, and everything, it's really, really hard to steer. And the first time I actually built this, it got stuck. I went down, was digging underground, and I didn't have enough thrusters on the front to push me back up. So I ended up getting stuck underground because I was so heavy with I was so heavy from mining the ores that the engines were not strong enough to lift me up. So I basically had to like hand dig a tunnel above myself, above the ship, to where I could just levitate it straight up like this, because these engines were strong enough, but the front engines weren't. So that took a little bit of time. Then I had to redesign it and say, okay, I need more engines on it. So here we have, which one is this? This is the silver. So one of the things I've done to make this a little bit easier, because you have to be really careful. When you're doing the mining, you do need to kind of drill down. Here, let me go external. You do need to kind of drill down at an angle like this, but if you go too steep, like I'm relying a lot on these front engines right now, not these ones. These front engines are what's holding me up. And if I go too steep, those front engines are not going to be able to carry the weight, and then I'll get stuck down there. So you kind of want to go in at a lighter angle like this, where you can get more of these engines working and these ones so they're working together. The problem is most stuff is deep underground. You can start getting into the dirt and you lose your perspective of what angle you're at, and you end up going deeper and deeper, steeper angles, and you get stuck. And it becomes a problem. So what I've done is I've just kind of made here, I've got this where I made it to where I can pretty much just kind of levitate myself down. Almost at a nice level. So I had to spend a lot of time digging this out. And you gotta be careful of the sides, you scrape the sides, damage your engines and things. So mining is really dangerous. The ship is nice, it's big, it carries a lot, it's got good drills on it, but it is a beast to try and steer. So down here we've got the silver, you can see it there. So I'm going to turn my lights on, and we just go to mining. Now, bottom right corner there's that little antenna in the power button. There's a thing that says a number of kilograms. That's the weight of my ship. You can watch it as it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And that's really kind of how I know when I'm full, is when it reaches a certain point, my cargo containers are all full up, and I got no more room for anything else. You gotta be really careful. You're deep underground. The only thing that's going to get me out is my engines. The engines are all sitting on the sides of the ship, very exposed, very easily damaged. One of these days I'm going to design a better version that has the engines like protected, like they're inside the ship, so they won't get as beat up. But this is kind of my first run, and I'm really kind of proud of it. I mean, it works really well, as long as you know the limitations of it, and you're careful with it. Alright, there we go. 13.5, that's kind of where I'm at. Alright, so good. Now I have to very carefully lift ourselves out of here. Oops, right into the back there, so let's just keep going straight. And here we go, and we're coming back to the top. Again, I don't want to this ship took a lot to build. It took a lot of resources, took a lot of time, took a lot of trial and error. So I don't want to, do anything stupid. Again, I have crashed multiple times and had to reload, because mostly for dumb things like banging into the sides and losing engines, but also for basically, whoa, I'm getting off kilter there. That's another thing. You have to stay level so you can keep those big engines pointing to the ground, so you can get the maximum amount of thrust. Alright, there we go. Made it. Yeah, each time I go in, it's an adventure. And you have to turn carefully so we don't get off kilter. And then back to base. Now you notice it is taking a lot longer to get up to speed, because I've got so much mass, it's requiring so much more force to accelerate me. Now here's where things really get dicey, and this is where I've actually crashed most often, is trying to go down, because once you start going down, it is very tough to stop because of the momentum, because the thrusters on here, they're strong enough to hold it up in the air. But see, look at this. I'm not doing this. It is just going on its own. Better see if I can get some thrusters to help me before I crash. Oh. Come on, slow it down, slow it down. There you go. Whew, that was close. Yeah, I've thought about redoing this with maybe adding some more of the large engines on it, but those things are so freaking big that it would just make this thing so awkward and so difficult to get into. I mean, you want something that's small enough to get underground and can get through tunnels and maneuver and those sorts of things. Oops, I want to go down. I'm going the wrong direction. So I don't want to make it too big, but at the same time, it's like I gotta have it big enough to make it worthwhile getting in there. So there's a real balancing act of trying to make it big enough to get a decent amount of minerals and stuff out, and having enough engines that can hold the weight without being so big that it becomes this really awkward thing that you get stuck underground with because it's too big and too fat. Yeah, docking this thing is fun too, because it does not steer very well. I mean, and I've got pretty much as many engines on it as I could possibly fit. Although, hold on, let me check, see if anything is damaged. Nope, they're all looking good. Okay. Nothing was in the red, so it looks like we're good. Very, very slowly going down. And I want to move forward a little bit, get over the base. And we'll scooch to the side a smidge. So I have to line up with that little yellow circle down there. That's my docking port. I have to line up on that. Some more. There we go. I lined up that way. Down. As soon as it turns yellow, they'll connect and locked. Engines off, batteries on recharge, and there we go. So now, all of that stuff that I had gotten, silver and stone, is all being transferred over to my base, to where my refiners are now going to process it. I really should do the stone first, because it goes faster. Where's my other refiner? There you are. Now you can handle some more silver. And we'll give you the rest of the stone. And the silver. There we go. Alright. So that's my mining ship. It's definitely an adventure. Every time I take it out, I am super nervous, super tense, trying to get it to work and not crash. And let's see how that's doing. Yep, see, solar panels tracking. They're not actually tracking the sun. They're just rotating at a rate that should hopefully keep them relatively in line with it. And then you can see that little blinky dot over there is the timer that is counting down. And then at an hour, when the panels are over here, it should reverse them and send them back this way during the night. My big issue is does it repeat? Because I've got to set up to change the direction of the rotors to reverse them and to also start itself again. So it'll start up a new hour-long timer and then reverse. My plan is that it just keeps this loop. Reverse the panels, start a new timer, reverse the panels, start a new timer, reverse the panels, start a new timer. But I don't know if it will actually do that or if it's just a cycle through once and then done sort of a deal. Not really super 100% sure. So the next thing I'm doing, because I got these refineries, because processing all of this, like some of these, like the iron processes fairly quickly. The dirt definitely processes really quickly. The cobalt, the silver, the gold, they are very slow in refining and processing. So I've got 2 of these to handle and to hopefully speed up the process of all the stuff. Because you're going to need a lot. It takes a lot to build all the things. I mean, this is just a very small beginner base. There's people out there that got like giant space stations and things. So the amount of resources you need is crazy. So this here, not a whole lot, but it's enough for my needs. What I'm doing next is I'm going to make a new ship because I want to do some more exploring around. Like I've seen around here, I found some stuff over there, but what I need is, I mean, the whole goal of this is to eventually get into space and to go look to planets and asteroids. And there's a moon out there somewhere that you can get to. So I need to get into space. And for that, these engines are not going to work because they only work in the atmosphere. Let me check to make sure I didn't take any damage. Because something was scraping. Oh, and I put a camera on the back so that sometimes if I'm a reverse I can see what's going on. Looks fine. Probably should use that one instead of the grinder. Okay, so that looks good. Doesn't look like it took any damage. Alright. So this is going to be a hydrogen-powered ship. It's going to use hydrogen jets, which are these things. You can see they're a lot smaller than the engines over here. But they have a trade-off, and I think they're supposed to be stronger too, like they get more thrust out of them. But the trade-off is I need this big giant hydrogen tank to fuel them, and they need to be connected with these lines to feed them hydrogen. These over here, they just... Oh, I'm stuck. Oh, I'm stuck. How am I stuck on this thing? Alright. There. These engines run on electricity, which means I need a lot of batteries. I have 6 batteries on this, and that will give me maybe 45 minutes of power if I don't do much, less than 30 if I'm mining and traveling and using all my engines. It's going to be like 20. So, but they're easy to recharge because to recharge all I need is solar and wind. These I have to constantly worry about fuel, keeping this tank filled up. Because if this tank runs dry, you crash and you're done. I know, because I did it. I made a first round version of this where all I put on it was a tank, some engines, and a cockpit, and I flew out to see how far can I go on a tank. Now, I was assuming, like, here's me, my inventory. I've got hydrogen bottles, canisters of hydrogen gas. So I'm thinking, you know, what if I carry some bottles of hydrogen gas? I can stick them in the tank. That'll refuel it, so I'll be able to get back. Nope, doesn't work. This does not use the hydrogen in those bottles. It only uses the hydrogen that it stores somehow, some way. And the only way I know how much hydrogen it has is these little light things on it. This tell me it's full. Okay, great. But if I go here, Okay, I want the hydrogen tank. Okay, this will tell me I'm filled up 100%. No, which one is that? Yes, this one's telling me I'm filled up 100%. If I'm in the cockpit, I get a little gauge thing that says you have 100%, 99, blah, blah, blah. Battery power tells me how many minutes and hours of use I have left. So I can estimate, oh, I've got 20 minutes of battery power left. Okay, that's fine. This, when I use this, doesn't give me that kind of information. It doesn't give me the amount of minutes of fuel I have left. You have to be more estimating in your gas mileage, your fuel mileage on it. So this is just the beginning. I've got the back end. This is like the worst way possible to try and make this. There's like a whole lot better ways to do this, because when I was doing this, I really have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just figuring this game out as I go along. And then when I can't figure things out, I go online to YouTube and find smart people who tell me how to do it. So I was like, okay, well, I need an hydrogen tank. But the hydrogen engines only work if you have hydrogen in the tank. But if you build the tank's empty. And the only way to get this filled is to connect it here to the base. So I went through this massively weird arrangement of trying to get this connector here at just the right height with a little small battery so it'll be powered, so I can connect it to the base connector and then attach the hydrogen engine so that it was automatically attached and could be fed hydrogen that way. There's actually a much smarter way to do that, and I was thinking about this, and I was like, there's got to be a way for you to fly this thing around and not run out of fuel, because its range is so short. It's terrible. And since using the hydrogen bottles was not useful, I was like, what the heck am I supposed to do? And then I had a brilliant epiphany. There is a small version of this thing down here. I've got a oxygen and hydrogen generator refiner thing that takes ice and separates into oxygen and hydrogen. Well, there's a small version of it that you can put onto ships. I totally forgot it existed. Those are not lined up. Gosh dang it, they're going a little bit too fast for the sun. So I was afraid of. Oh well. But there's a small version of the oxygen hydrogen generator that I can put on here, that if I have a cargo container full of ice, the ice will be turned into hydrogen, which will feed into the tank, which will keep everything fueled. So all I would need to do is make sure I have plenty of ice in there. Brilliant. And then I thought, wait a minute. That's how I can start this thing up, because this is not how you start building a ship. You want to go out, if you're going to build a ship, you're going to go out here, out in the middle of nowhere, and you're going to be like, oops, too far maybe. But that's kind of the point. Anyway, so I'm going to go out here, and I'm going to get, where is it? Well, I'll just do this, landing. You get a landing gear. And I want a small size landing gear, because it comes in big and little. So I'm just going to make a landing gear, drop it down, and ta-da, it plops down. And from here, I can build off of it. Now this one's at a bit of an angle, which is probably not going to be good. But from here, I can build the small squares that I would need for the ship. Because if I try to do it off of that, I'm going to get the large squares, which is going to be too big, and it's not going to work. So this is how you normally want to build a ship, is doing it that way. Because if I try and connect here, I'm going to get large scale squares, and it's not going to be effective. So don't ask, it was really complicated, but I realized that I can just do that same thing, put a frickin' cargo container on it, a oxygen hydrogen generator, put some ice in it, put some batteries on it, and it will fill up the hydrogen tank and everything will be okay. And I don't like this because they are way off. Way off. I'm going to have to reverse them. Okay, so I'm going to go in here to my rotors, and we're going to reverse their direction for a little bit until they get lined up with the sun a little bit again. Oops, I fell. I fell again. The sun's pretty much overhead, but they're at kind of a 30-degree angle, so they're definitely not perpendicular-ish. So what I'm going to do, I've already got this somewhat started, so I'm going to finish this. We're going to look and see what building this is going to look like. So here's my hydrogen tank. I've already got some engines put on here. You can see they're small, and because of the way they're arranged and the way you have to feed them through the conveyor systems, I can just take a conveyor junction and put like multiple zones, get all the different directions going. So I'm going to put the cargo container on here. I want big side to big side. So I'm going to rotate that big side to big side. There. Make sure it's centered. Keep an eye on them. Then I'm going to want the O2H2. And I want it facing this side because it's got a big side and little side. So I'm going to put it that way. And it works out well because these two little sides are going to match the two on the back of the cockpit. Which means I will keep oxygen in my cockpit, which will help me fly into space. Alright, so there's the basic outline of it. We've got the cargo container, which will store ice, which will go into the O2H2, which will put oxygen in here, and then send the hydrogen over here as needed. The hydrogen in here will go through these tubes to the engines so that I can fly. That's the plan. Alright, so oops. So let's get this thing built and see what it's like. So I want that. I want that. Oh, I'm going to need some batteries too. I'm going to need that. So I'm going to go over here, suck all that stuff out. And how are those doing? I'm getting closer. Let's do this. And let's do that one. Not quite all the way there. Need a little bit more stuff. And there we go. And I'm going to need some batteries. But first, let's go over there and get those back going in the right direction. Solar, solar, reverse direction, and there we go. So here we are. Let's see, let's go in the cockpit. Alright, so here you can see bottom right corner, 100% H2. Doesn't give me an amount of time. Like the battery, it can say, hey, here's the amount of seconds you have till it dies, or the amount of minutes you have till it dies, or the amount of hours or days if you have enough of them. But for the H2, for some reason, you don't get that sort of estimation things, which is kind of frustrating. But I can always go to not inventory K. I can always go K, and I want the hydrogen tank, and that will tell me, okay, I got not 100%, but pretty dang close. All right, let's get out of here now. I need to put batteries on. So battery, I think, I'm not sure I want to cover that up. I might need that open for something. So I might want to put the battery here. Or I might want to put it right back here. I mean, I don't know if I really need that. Yeah, I'll just put it there for now. We'll see how it works. Okay, how does that line up with those? Those engines are a little bit... Okay, so it's probably going to have to come out a little bit if I want to put engines this way. Because I do want to have... you know, obviously you want to keep things balanced. So, what if I put... What if it's... there's an idea. What if... Because I really don't need a lot of battery power. The only real things I need battery power for are running the cockpit, the generator, and the gyroscopes and the antenna on the back. Although I may put a drill bit on there so I can drill up ice once in a while to restock. That might be an idea. So I'm thinking, what if I put the battery... What if I only did one battery and put it up here? It's going to make me kind of high, which I don't really like. But not terribly high. And it's not like I'm planning on going crawling through tunnels. So... I wonder if I can run engines off of that. Or does it have to be directly connected to the hydrogen tank? I think it should be fine doing that. I think that should work. Alright, let's try this. Alright. Oops. Power cells. Okay, now I'm going to do number 9. I want a junction there. I want 6. Actually, you know what? I'm going to come out a little bit. Don't want to have that right there. Because I'm only going to have 2 backwards facing ones, which is not great. So I want to put, actually let's go with 8 there, 9 there, then I can put 6 engine that way, and I can have all the directions on this one, there, there, and there, and there. Sweet. Okay. So I need, materials for you. Oh, I covered that up. Should have got those built first. That would have been a smart thing to do. No, not you. That. Now we can go back to 6. You get on there. And I can go with, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there it goes. It's running. Because they automatically start in an on position, which is kind of annoying. But what can you do? Why am I not getting everything? There's no way you pulled out enough stuff for this. Okay. And top one. Let's go in and turn them off so we're not wasting fuel. So okay. I want hydrogen thrusters. All of you off. I think that should do it. Yep. Okay, battery should be charging. Let's see how much time I've got. Battery, battery, battery. Change the name, battery. I'm going to call this my shuttle. Fully charged in 10. This is the cockpit for the shuttle. Anything else for the shuttle? You can tell which one it is because it's in white, usually. Unless it's groups of things like this. But all these other colored things are for other subunits, other sections, other ships, other parts of the base, different stuff like that. So all these hydrogen cargo container. I'm going to abbreviate that. Red cargo on the shuttle. And let's because I got a bunch of I need more ice. I'm running out of ice. So let's see, where's my this ship. Cockpit connectors. So I can actually store ice in the cockpit, the connector. So let's why won't it do that? It won't let me put ice directly in it. Can I go to weird? Won't let me put ice in anything. That's odd. Oh, probably because I have that, the conveyor sorter. It's probably not letting me move things in this. Let's check this thing out. I may have to, because when I put this up here, I was originally planning on a certain arrangement of things, and obviously things have changed since then, so I'm probably gonna have to redo this. So conveyor sorter, what's it? Drain all is off. White list is off. And toggle block, it should be on. Probably just need to take that out. What if I turn that off? Is that going to make a difference? Probably going to make it even harder because nothing's going to move through it. So much. Nope. Inventory. My ship. No, my ship. Okay, that's acting weird. Anyway. We'll have to figure that out later. So let's do this side. So I'm going to need... But on the other hand, those were running, so that does work. Connected through that cargo container. Alright, so let's do the same thing on this side. We'll put an 8 there. And build it. Before I forget. And then we'll put a 9 there. And build it. Okay, now how did I do this junction out of the center and then to the back? Alright. So we'll do a number 9 from there, and then we'll go back. How far back did we go? Oh, I gotta connect to both of them. Alright, sweet. There, and then a 9 there. Okay, so one I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm doing is I'm right-clicking with the welder on these, and it automatically puts them into a production queue and says, oh, here's all this stuff I'm going to need. So then when I come over here, I hit the middle mouse button. That's what MMB stands for, middle mouse button. Middle mouse button, and it pulls all the stuff out I need for these. Or at least it's supposed to. It works most of the time, but sometimes not always. Sometimes it will miss some things, or stuff will not get put in the queue like you thought should be in the queue, and so you have to fiddle with it occasionally. Alright, so now we're going to go with 6, and I'm going to put thrusters on. I should not have any going that way on this side. So rear. And rear. And then side. And side. And then down. And down. And down. And we go floating up above. So we can... I need steel plates. Inventory. Steel plates. Let's level out a little bit so we're not totally cockeyed. There. And there. And there. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the top one. Okay, let's get the other pieces that I missed. Go. Great, that one's done, so let's do this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all I need for that one. I don't know if that's going to work very well with those facing each other. That might cause problems. But we'll see. Alright. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's it. Didn't have enough steel plates. Oh, these other ones did. Weird. What? Come on. Okay, come on. Get me the stuff I need. See, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes it will bug out and not pull everything, and then somehow pretend like, oh, you got everything you need. Like, no, I don't. Is that one done? That one's not done. So it's a good system, but not without its flaws. Alright. Definitely gonna have to keep an eye on those. That might need to do a different scenario setup for those. Alright, so let's go in, turn those engines off. Okay. I'm gonna take hydrogens, a lot of thrusters, we go on, and then off. And everything's up. Alrighty then. I might even put another battery down below. I'm not sure. There might be something to put here on the sides. But I do want to put landing gear. Do I have steel? I don't have steel plates. Alright. So landing gear. Rotate, face that way. Will not go center, we'll go center back there. That might be a good spot there. Alright. And there we go. I think we're full of hydrogen. I just need to figure out why I can't get. So I'm going to manually get rid of all this junk here and go to ice, plot a bunch of ice, and go to, oh, here's a problem, inventory, and ice, put ice in the air. They're not connected somehow. Is that sucking the ice out of my ship? Oh, that'll make me so mad. That's what I need to do. I need to take this, turn this the other way around, and tell it not to suck ice out. So let me go get some more ice. Because I should... the connectors are all lined up. So I should be able to transfer from the cockpit. I should only be on that ship. The cockpit to... Ah, there we go. There we go. And then from the cockpit to cargo. Okay. We can get some more. Inventory, and I want to go straight. No, for my ship, only my ship. I don't want to go to. Alright. Oh, I can put. I can carry a little bit more, but that'll be enough for now. We'll see how well that goes. Let me go get some just on the safe side, because I don't want to get stranded again like I did before. But here's the problem. I'm running out of ice. I mean, I got like almost 80,000, but this thing uses tons of it. Tons of it, tons of it, tons of it. Let's just get inside. Inventory, ship. Alright, those are all full, those are all full. Put some in the cockpit and put some in the connector. And so everybody, there it is, all sorts of, alright. So, let's go set up our controls. So I want to go K. I want to go hydrogen thrusters, all I use. We'll make you into a hyd thrusters shuttle group. Okay. We're going to set landing gear. There's going to be LG shuttle group. Okay, anything else I need? Batteries. I only have the one. Okay. My antenna is on. I got the gyros. I didn't put an ore detector on here. Ha! I knew I forgot something. Ore detector. So as I'm scouting around, I can see if there's ores there. Alright, let's go G. Let's go ore. Let's bring that down there. Now where do I want to put this thing? Let me put it right there. But I probably need some steel plates. And yeah, we'll stick it there. Alright. Good to go. So, let's go G. I want not batteries, minor. I want hydrogen thrusters. Toggle on and off. Landing gear shuttle. Switch lock mode. What else do I have? Hydrogen thrusters, so I've got some other blocks. So I need connector shuttle. Toggling lock or not. So, and I want the battery for the shuttle to be charging or not. Alright, charging battery, locking, feet, and engines. That should do it. So, I should be able to turn on the engines. Oops, and disconnect. And we are stuck. Why are we stuck? Oh, I bet one of those landing gears is on auto lock and it connected. Gosh, dang it. I hate the landing gears with their auto locks. Landing gears. Landing gears. Auto lock off. Auto lock off. Auto lock off. Ugh. Could have sworn I told them to be off. Alright. Now. There we go. Now we can fly. Look at this. Doing all sorts of crazy things. I'm probably going to crash. Yep, I'm probably going to crash. I got to be careful. But see, look at this. After just that little bit, I'm already at less than 90%. Probably because I got so many freaking engines running. I mean, look at all of them. That's a lot of engines running. Look at those two right there. They're probably chewing on each other, blasting each other with engine heat. Oh yeah. Did that one already disappear? Or did I not put it there? Oh no, I never put it there. That might have been a smart thing to do. So. Yeah, we are running through fuel like crazy. Crazy. Let's go up here. Let's see what's up here. Not much apparently. Alright, so I'm going to stop. If I can stop. Yeah, I don't have enough forward thrusters. Ooh, yeah, they're definitely chewing each other up. Look at that. So that was not the best idea, but I definitely need more forward thrusters because this thing does not stop very well. I've only had like, well, I've got 4 backwards facing thrusters, so. Alright, so let's check inventory. I've got O2 generator is running. But it doesn't seem. Doesn't seem to be able to keep up with demand. Yeah. Oops. I broke it. Yeah, see, even just sitting here, that hydrogen tank thing is, the O2H2 generator is not keeping up with how much I'm using. So this is going to require some reworking. But it's a start. And this is the whole point. It's just you try something, you see, oh crap, that didn't work very well. What do I need to do to fix it? How can I make it better? How can I make it more efficient? Can I even make it back to base? Do I have enough fuel? Which is sad because when I first, my first shipment, oh, there went my engine. Yep, engine's gone. The first version I made was a lot lighter for one thing, because it didn't have the cargo container, it didn't have extra batteries, it didn't have the O2H2 generator, so it was definitely a lot lighter. I'm not pressing on the accelerator, and it is taking forever to slow down. That's not good. And the fuel usage, that's, like, I barely went out there and back, and I used over 60% of my fuel. That's not good. Oh, this thing does not fly very well at all. Oops, I need to go backwards, that's right. Oops, need to turn around. Don't hit the fans. Other direction there. And back. Down some more. Down some more. Down some more. There we go. Alright, so lock it up. Engine's off. Batteries on recharge. And we need to do some redesigning because that did not work very well. Alright, but that's for another time. So you got to see me fall. You kind of got to see what the whole thing is about. You mine stuff, you craft stuff. Only you craft cool stuff. Stuff that flies, and you can build guns and missiles and things, and there are supposed to be enemies out there that you can fight. Pirates and things. So, yeah. That's it for now. Hopefully next time I'll have a much better designed, more efficient version of this that doesn't run out after 5 kilometers after run. That's really, really bad. That's as far as I can go. Seriously. As big and as clunky as these things are, for the amount of power they use, I can go so far on these things. Even though I've got like 50 frickin' engines on here and only 6 batteries, I can fly for like an hour on them. Well, this thing, much fewer engines, big old giant fuel tank, and a refinery thing on there, and still, I don't know, something's just, not working right. So, alright, so that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.